The morning of the incident was as ordinary as any other in the small town of Greendale. The sun rose lazily over the horizon, casting long shadows through the streets and painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. But as the town's inhabitants went about their mundane routines, none could have anticipated the extraordinary events that were about to unfold. It began with a low humming sound, barely perceptible at first, like the distant echo of a forgotten melody. As the minutes passed, the sound grew louder, resonating through the air until it was impossible to ignore. Curious faces peeked out of windows, and cautious steps ventured outside, eyes scanning the sky for a source. Then, as if the heavens themselves had opened, a brilliant light pierced the morning sky. A massive object, unlike anything ever seen before, descended from the clouds. It was not a meteor or a satellite. It was too symmetrical, too controlled in its descent. The townspeople watched in a mixture of awe and fear as the object landed gently in the field just beyond the old Miller farm. The structure was unmistakably alien, its surface a seamless metallic silver, reflecting the sun's rays in dazzling patterns. The air around it seemed to shimmer with energy, and for a long moment, everything was silent. The silence was broken by a soft hiss as a section of the alien structure slid open, revealing a dark interior. From within the shadows, 3 figures emerged. They were clearly not human. Their skin shimmered like the surface of their ship. Their eyes were large and luminous, and their bodies slender and elongated. Despite their startling appearance, their movements were graceful and deliberate, imbued with an air of calm authority. The townspeople, gathered at a safe distance, watched as the aliens moved towards them. Their steps were hesitant, driven by a mixture of curiosity and dread. It was then that young Ellie, a child of no more than 7, broke free from her mother's grasp and ran towards the visitors, her innocence leading her where adults feared to tread. The aliens stopped, and the tallest among them knelt down to Ellie's height, studying her with a gentle curiosity. Ellie, undaunted, reached out a hand. The alien hesitated, then extended a hand-like appendage. The moment they touched, a soft glow emanated from their contact, and a gasp went through the crowd. It was then that the mistake was made, a mistake that would alter the course of human and alien relations forever. In the crowd, someone panicked, a gun was fired, and a bullet raced through the air, striking the alien in the midst of this peaceful exchange. Chaos ensued. The wounded alien staggered back, its companions rushed to its aid, and the townspeople fled in terror. Amidst the turmoil, Ellie stood frozen, her small face crumpled in confusion and fear. The aliens quickly returned to their ship, the wounded being supported by the others. With a swift, silent grace, the ship rose into the sky and disappeared, leaving behind a town gripped by shock, and a world forever changed. In the days that followed, the incident at Greendale would become the subject of global speculation and fear. Governments scrambled to respond, scientists sought to understand, and ordinary people wondered what it meant for the future of humanity. But for Ellie, the impact was much more personal. She had touched the stars, and in doing so, had sparked a chain of events that would lead her down a path she could never have imagined. As the world debated and theorized, the aliens were making their own plans. They had come in peace, but had been met with violence. Yet the connection made with the young human child offered a glimmer of hope, a mistake perhaps, but one that might yet be mended. The stage was set for a story of cosmic proportions, where the fate of 2 species would hinge on understanding, forgiveness, and the boundless curiosity of a child who dared to reach out to the unknown. In the wake of the Greendale incident, the world was a cauldron of fear and wonder. Military bases were on high alert, scientists pored over every piece of available data, and news outlets fed the public's insatiable hunger for information. Yet, amid all the confusion and speculation, one question rose above the rest. Why did they come? Meanwhile, in the quiet seclusion of her room, Ellie found herself haunted by the memory of the alien's touch, the warmth, the light, the inexplicable sense of connection. She couldn't articulate it to the hordes of officials and curious journalists who paraded through her life. How could she explain that in the brief moment their skin met, she felt understood in a way she never had before? Her parents, protective yet equally perplexed, did their best to shield her from the relentless media scrutiny. But as the world looked to Greendale for answers, it became increasingly difficult to maintain any semblance of normalcy. As governments deliberated on defensive measures, a small covert group of scientists and diplomats, known as the Contact Consortium, formed to explore a more peaceful response. Dr. Helen Ramirez, a leading expert in exobiology, believed that the aliens' brief interaction with Ellie was significant. It wasn't just curiosity. That alien reached out to her, even after the attack. There's a message there, a plea for understanding, perhaps. We need to explore this connection, Helen argued in a secure meeting room, surrounded by skeptical faces. Despite resistance, Helen managed to push through a plan. With the backing of the consortium, she approached Ellie and her family with a proposal to serve as an ambassador of sorts, a bridge between humanity and the mysterious visitors, should they ever return. Ellie, intrigued by the idea of seeing her silent friends again, agreed, sparking a new chapter of preparation and training under Helen's guidance. She learned about diplomacy, alien biology, and even began to study signals and communications in hopes of bridging the gap between words and understanding. Months turned into a year, and the fear that had once gripped the world began to fade into a cautious normalcy. No further contacts were made, and for many, the aliens became a distant memory, a bizarre footnote in an otherwise mundane existence. But Ellie and the consortium kept watching the stars. Then, on the anniversary of the first contact, the sky spoke again. A series of low-frequency transmissions, undetectable to the ordinary ear but clear to those who were listening, echoed across the planet. The message was fragmented, complex, but Ellie felt a surge of joy. She knew it was them. The consortium quickly mobilized, setting up a reception area at the original landing site in Greendale. The world's eyes turned once more to the small town, now transformed into a staging ground for what some hoped would be humanity's first peaceful interstellar dialogue. As the appointed time drew near, Ellie stood at the forefront, not as a frightened child, but as a hopeful emissary. Dr. Ramirez, with a mix of maternal pride and professional anticipation, stood by her side. The humming began, a now familiar prelude to the extraordinary. The ship descended just as it had a year ago, with serene majesty. As the hatch opened and the alien stepped out, this time there was no panic, no gunfire, just a silent, collective breath held by all of humanity. The lead alien, recovered and whole, approached Ellie. Their eyes met, and a mutual recognition passed between them. Without a word, they began the delicate dance of diplomacy, their every move watched by a world desperate for hope. In that field, under the watchful eyes of the cosmos, a new chapter in human history began, written not with fear, but with the courageous curiosity of a girl who dared to reach out to the unknown. As the world looked on with bated breath, the interactions between Ellie and the aliens unfolded with a cautious grace. The initial meetings were filled with tentative exchanges, each side using technology and gestures to bridge the vast divides of language and culture. Dr. Helen Ramirez, always at Ellie's side, coordinated with linguists and xenopsychologists to decode the alien communications. Meanwhile, Ellie, growing more confident by the day, found herself deeply immersed in the role of intermediary. The aliens, whom Ellie had begun to affectionately refer to as the Star Folk, shared insights into their technology and culture through a series of holographic displays and tactile interfaces. These sessions revealed not only their advanced understanding of physics and bioengineering, but also their rich, complex social structures and philosophy. The Starfolk emphasized harmony with the cosmos, viewing their scientific advancements as merely extensions of their spiritual existence. Ellie learned of their home planet, Etheria, a world of vast oceans and floating islands orbiting a binary star system. The Starfolk described how their planet's unique conditions had shaped their evolution and technology, leading to their ability to travel through space in the organic living ships they piloted. Public fascination turned to admiration as broadcasts showed the young human ambassador laughing and learning alongside beings from another world. Ellie's genuine curiosity and empathy did more for human-alien relations than any formal treaty could. As a symbol of this burgeoning friendship, the Starfolk presented Ellie and the people of Earth with a gift, a harmonizer. This device, capable of converting and amplifying emotional energies into music, was intended to teach humans about Etherian culture, where music was a fundamental form of communication. However, not everyone was swayed by the peaceful exchange. Skeptical governments and fearful citizens voiced concerns about the aliens' true intentions. Conspiracy theories proliferated across the internet, fueled by the lingering trauma of the First Contact's violent mishap. Military advisors pressured political leaders to prepare for potential threats, leading to a secretive buildup of defensive measures. Amidst this atmosphere of distrust, a significant incident unfolded that threatened to unravel the fragile peace. A rogue faction within the military, convinced that the Starfolk were a preemptive invasion force, launched a covert attack on the alien ship during one of the learning sessions. The attack was sophisticated and unexpected, employing electromagnetic pulses designed to disable the Starfolk's technology without causing physical harm. As alarms blared and systems failed, chaos ensued. The Greendale field, once a site of historical diplomacy, became a battleground. Ellie, horrified by the betrayal of trust, stood firm in the midst of the turmoil. With Dr. Ramirez's help, she managed to negotiate a ceasefire, pleading with both human and alien forces to stand down. Her impassioned speech, broadcast live around the world, reminded everyone of the hope that had brought them together. Violence brought us fear, but understanding brought us hope. We must not let fear define us, Ellie implored, her voice steady but full of emotion. Moved by her words, the rogue faction stood down, and the diplomatic corps moved quickly to secure the site. In the aftermath, the Starfolk, surprisingly, chose to see the attack as a misunderstanding, a test of their commitment to peace rather than a betrayal. Reaffirmed by the resolution of the crisis, the Contact Consortium, alongside international leaders, redoubled their efforts to integrate Earth into a broader cosmic community. New protocols were established to protect the Starfolk and ensure that Earth's journey into the galactic stage was marked not by fear, but by an unwavering commitment to peace and understanding. As Ellie continued her work, now with a seasoned gaze, she became not just a bridge between humans and Starfolk, but a beacon of hope for a future where such bridges would no longer be necessary. Through her eyes, the world learned that in the vast, mysterious cosmos, empathy might just be the most advanced technology of all. The aftermath of the attack reshaped global policies and public opinion. Ellie's heartfelt plea not only quelled the immediate threat, but also ignited a worldwide movement advocating for peaceful coexistence and interstellar cooperation. The story of a young girl standing between two potentially warring factions with nothing but words of peace became a symbol of new possibilities. In the months following the incident, Ellie and the Contact Consortium worked tirelessly to cement the foundations of this new relationship. The harmonizer, once a curious artifact, became a central tool in educating humanity about the Starfolk and their culture. Concerts and public events were held, where the harmonizer translated human emotions into Etherian music, creating symphonies that resonated with the vibrations of unity and understanding. Dr. Helen Ramirez, overseeing the scientific exchanges, noted a remarkable increase in collaborative projects. Human technology, inspired by Etherian principles, began to leap forward, particularly in the fields of renewable energy and medical science. The Starfolk, in return, expressed a profound interest in human arts and literature, fascinated by the diverse expressions of human thought and feeling. Ellie, who had become the youngest ambassador in United Nations history, traveled between Earth and a Starfolk orbital station, facilitating dialogues and educational programs. Her work, however, was not without challenges. Despite the progress, pockets of resistance and xenophobia persisted, fueled by fear of the unknown and a lingering distrust of the Starfolk's intentions. During one of Ellie's speeches at the United Nations, a delegate from a conservative faction challenged her, demanding assurances that humanity was not surrendering its sovereignty to alien influences. Ellie's response, wise beyond her years, was broadcast globally. We are not losing ourselves in this union. We are finding new ways to express our humanity. Sovereignty is not just about control and isolation. It's about choosing our path forward. We choose to walk this path with the Starfolk, not as subordinates, but as partners exploring the vast unknown together. Her words echoed around the world, quelling doubts and inspiring a new wave of optimism. In recognition of her contributions, the UN Secretary-General invited Ellie to help draft a new framework for interstellar diplomacy, termed the Earth-Etheria Accord. Meanwhile, back in Greendale, the site of the first contact had been transformed into an interstellar cultural exchange center, where humans and starfolk could learn from each other. Exhibitions showcased technological marvels and cultural treasures from both worlds, and the center hosted regular forums where ideas and concerns could be discussed openly. As the second anniversary of the first contact approached, the Starfolk proposed a grand celebration to honor the partnership. They introduced the concept of the Harmony Festival, a galactic tradition where different civilizations shared their cultural and technological advancements in a spirit of camaraderie. The festival was planned to be held alternately on Earth and Etheria, symbolizing the reciprocal nature of their relationship. Ellie was chosen to oversee the organization of the first Harmony Festival on Earth. The event was a mosaic of Earth's and Etheria's finest achievements, with exhibitions, performances, and forums that attracted beings from across the galaxy. The festival not only celebrated the unity between Earth and Etheria, but also opened doors to other civilizations, eager to engage with the newly allied species. As the festival drew to a close, Ellie stood beside a vast display of Earth and Etherian history, her heart swelling with pride and hope. The once frightened girl who had touched the stars now watched as her world embraced those very stars, weaving them into the fabric of human destiny. Through her journey, Ellie had learned that the universe was not a place of fear and darkness, but a tapestry rich with the light of countless stars, each with its own stories and songs. And in this vast cosmos, humanity had found its voice, not in isolation, but in the harmonious chorus of interstellar unity. The Harmony Festival, a dazzling testament to interstellar unity, had left an indelible mark on Earth and beyond. The success of such an unprecedented event sparked further interest among other spacefaring civilizations, some of whom had previously observed Earth with cautious neutrality. With this newfound galactic visibility, Earth became a focal point in a complex network of interstellar politics and commerce. However, with greater exposure came greater vulnerability. The fear and suspicion that had once been a simmering undercurrent within certain human factions now found echoes in the broader galaxy. Not all were pleased with humanity's rapid ascent to the cosmic stage. Some older, more established civilizations viewed Earth's sudden prominence with skepticism and concern, worried about the disruption of a long-standing balance of power. Ellie, now an experienced diplomat at just 18, faced the daunting task of navigating these turbulent cosmic waters. Her role expanded beyond fostering Earth-Starfolk relations. She now engaged with ambassadors from multiple star systems, each with their own agendas and histories. It was during a routine diplomatic tour on the Starfolk orbital station that Ellie encountered the Nyxarians, a reclusive and highly intellectual species known for their advanced cryptographic technologies. The Nyxarians had been distant observers of the Earth-Etheria partnership and had remained neutral until the Harmony Festival piqued their interest. During a formal reception, Ellie was approached by Ambassador Threx, a leading Nyxarian diplomat. Threx was polite yet pointed, expressing his civilization's concerns directly. "Ambassador Ellie," he began, his voice a soft, modulated hum, "while we admire your species' zest for growth and cooperation, we must express caution. Rapid expansion in the galaxy has often led to conflicts. How do you intend to ensure that Earth's ascent does not disturb the existing peace?" Ellie, well prepared and thoughtful, responded with a calmness that had become her signature. "Ambassador Threx, we are keenly aware of the responsibilities that come with our position in the galaxy. Our goal is not merely expansion, but integration and contribution. We aim to learn from civilizations like yours and to share our unique perspectives. Peace is at the heart of our policy." Threx nodded, his expression unreadable. But the conversation marked the beginning of a delicate dance of diplomacy with the Nixarians and others who shared their concerns. Back on Earth, amidst the excitement of new possibilities, a clandestine threat was brewing. A coalition of radical groups, united by a deep-seated xenophobia, began to gain traction. These groups viewed the interstellar partnerships as a betrayal of human sovereignty and purity. They operated in the shadows, spreading disinformation and inciting fear. The situation escalated when a sabotage attempt was made on the Interstellar Cultural Exchange Center in Greendale. The attack was thwarted, thanks to the vigilance of the security teams and some advanced Starfolk security technology. But the message was clear. Not everyone was ready for this new world. Ellie addressed this growing threat in a public broadcast, emphasizing unity and the dangers of succumbing to fear. "We stand at the threshold of a new era," she declared. "Let us not be the architects of our own destruction through fear and hatred. Instead, let us build bridges with those who come to us with open hands." Her speech resonated worldwide, bolstering public support for interstellar cooperation. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Ellie and her team worked with various alien diplomats to strengthen security measures and develop counter-propaganda strategies. As Earth navigated these complex challenges, Ellie grew into her role, understanding that her journey involved not just the celebration of unity, but also the relentless defense of it against those who would see it undone. Her dedication and that of her allies formed a beacon of hope, a reminder that while the path to the stars might be fraught with shadows, the light of cooperation and understanding could illuminate the way forward. As the challenges mounted and the interstellar community watched, Ellie's role as a peacemaker became more vital than ever. The sabotage attempt at the Interstellar Cultural Exchange Center had been a stark reminder of the persistent shadows lurking within human society. However, it also galvanized a stronger commitment to security and mutual understanding among Earth's population and its alien partners. In the years that followed, Ellie and her team's efforts to counteract xenophobic propaganda began to bear fruit. Education programs, designed in collaboration with various alien species, highlighted the benefits and achievements of Earth's integration into the galactic community. These initiatives helped to cultivate a new generation of Earth citizens who were more cosmopolitan and less fearful of the unknown. Meanwhile, Ellie's diplomatic missions extended beyond the immediate neighbors in the galaxy. The Nixarians, once skeptical, began to engage more openly with Earth, intrigued by the humans' resilience and capacity for empathy. Ellie's frequent dialogues with Ambassador Threx evolved from cautious formalities to genuine exchanges of ideas, setting a precedent for other civilizations to follow. The turning point came during the Summit of Stars, a grand assembly of multiple galactic civilizations held on the neutral planet of Paxaria. The summit was a vibrant mosaic of cultures and species, each with their unique contributions to the galaxy. Earth, represented by Ellie, was now recognized not just as a newcomer, but as a central figure in shaping interstellar diplomacy. During the summit, Ellie delivered a keynote speech that would be remembered as a defining moment in human history. Standing before the assembled delegates, she spoke not just as a human or an Earth ambassador, but as a citizen of the galaxy. "Today we are not separate species scattered across the stars. We are a constellation, interconnected and interdependent. Each of us brings light to this galaxy, and together, our lights can dispel the deepest shadows. Let us move forward not as individual planets or species, but as a collective, a community that cherishes diversity and seeks unity." Her words, broadcast across countless worlds, inspired a new wave of cooperative initiatives. The summit concluded with the signing of the Paxaria Accords, a series of agreements promoting peace, scientific collaboration, and cultural exchange. Back on Earth, as news of the summit's success spread, celebrations erupted. Ellie returned home to Greendale, where the journey had begun, to find the town transformed into a symbol of Earth's new identity, a place where humans and aliens lived and worked side by side. The town square, once the site of fearful glances skyward, now sported a monument depicting hands of different shapes and sizes, each reaching toward the stars. Ellie's journey from a frightened girl to a galactic diplomat became the subject of books, films, and educational programs, inspiring countless others to look beyond their world and see the possibilities of a united galaxy. As she stood before the monument in Greendale, now older and wiser, Ellie reflected on the path humanity had taken. The shadows of fear and prejudice had not completely vanished, but they were now outnumbered by the lights of curiosity, cooperation, and hope. In the twilight of her career, with the stars twinkling above, Ellie felt a profound connection to the cosmos, a reminder that Earth was part of a much larger community, a vibrant tapestry woven through the efforts of those who dared to dream. With a peaceful heart, she knew that while her chapter might be drawing to a close, the story of humanity among the stars was just beginning, a perpetual journey of discovery, guided by the constellations of unity they had created together.